Rising from the shimmering sands of the Giza Plateau, the Great Pyramid has captured the wonder and imagination of humankind for far longer than recorded history can recall. Enormous, enigmatic, it stands as a riddle carved in stone, confronting our every assumption about what ancient cultures could achieve. According to mainstream archaeological narratives, the ancient Egyptians engineered this wonder around 2500 BC, during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. In this view, organized teams of skilled laborers, artists, and engineers gathered over decades to move and precisely place the pyramid's megalithic blocks, transforming a vision of imperial grandeur into a monument that still stretches towards the heavens 4.5 millennia later. Yet with every chisel mark, every layer delicately stacked, the questions multiply. Who truly built the pyramids, and when? Are we looking at the triumph of Bronze Age ingenuity, or something altogether stranger? Start with the sheer logistics of its construction. The Great Pyramid is composed of over 2.4 million massive limestone and granite blocks, each weighing anywhere from 2 to an astonishing 15 tons. The total weight is estimated at 6.5 million tons. No small feat, especially when you consider the lack of cranes, pulleys, or even wheels in the conventional Egyptian toolkit of that era. The very notion beggars belief. Imagine, for a moment, a civilization without modern steel tools or machinery, facing the prospect of moving thousands of weights heavier than any modern construction truck could carry. Generations of scholars and adventurers have strained to explain how such heavy loads could be quarried, transported often from sites dozens of kilometers away, and then hoisted into position with the kind of precision that rivals modern engineering. How, in a world ruled by muscle and rope, by copper chisels and wooden sledges, could this extraordinary feat be not only possible, but real? Methods have been proposed. Ramps of mud brick, teams of thousands with ropes and lubricated sledges, even elaborate counterweight systems. Yet every model reveals its own flaws. Ramps would require more material than the pyramid itself, and leave traces no archaeologist has found. Existing Egyptian records, while rich in religious and courtly details, are eerily silent about the specific techniques necessary for such a monumental undertaking. Each step of the proposed process dissolves under scrutiny. The deeper one delves into the mechanics, the greater the doubts become. Is it possible that the most famous architectural achievement of the ancient world has roots deeper than we've dared to explore? Peel back the layers of construction, and the enigma deepens. The pyramid's base covers a footprint larger than 8 football fields and is aligned, by some miracle of ancient science, almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass. The pyramid's sides deviate from true north by barely a fraction of a degree, an accuracy so astonishing that even today, with our powerful surveying equipment, the challenge of recreating it would be daunting. The tools the Egyptians wielded were little more than string, shadows, and sightlines. Yet the geometry is impeccable. What possible method could have allowed Bronze Age engineers to overcome the Earth's curve, measure out such colossal distances, and set every angle true? Looking closer, one finds still more strange precision. To the casual eye, the pyramid appears to be a 4-sided structure, each face formed by the vast sweep of limestone blocks. But careful surveys reveal a secret. Each of the 4 sides is itself bifurcated by a subtle concavity, making the Great Pyramid the only one of its kind to have not 4, but 8 slightly indented faces. This 8-faceted design is nearly invisible from the ground, detectable only from above, and most apparent at the equinox, when a unique play of shadow reveals the subtle craftsmanship. No texts, drawings, or surviving artifacts offer the faintest explanation for this architectural flourish. What advantage or technique did this design serve? Was it simply an artistic flourish, a means to reduce structural stress, or the key to some hidden mathematical or astronomical message? Speaking of astronomy, the entire Giza complex is shrouded in celestial symbolism. The three pyramids align with the three stars of Orion's belt, shifting slightly each century as a result of the Earth's axial precession. Some researchers contend that the pyramid's uncanny alignment extends further. Its base is located almost exactly at the geodetic center of all Earth's land masses, implying a knowledge of geography far beyond the maps and means of ancient Egypt. Is this mere coincidence, or a deliberate act by planners who possessed knowledge lost to history? The mathematics encoded in the pyramid's proportions, ratios of pi, the golden mean, the circumference and radius of the Earth, point toward an understanding that seems to anticipate the developments of civilizations thousands of years later. Trying to resolve these anomalies, scholars have traced back into the mists of time, searching for clues buried beneath both sand and dogma. Some propose that the pyramid is a relic from an age before Egypt, built not by Khufu and his contemporaries, but by a civilization whose very name is lost. The evidence emerges from the pyramid's own battered flanks. Erosion patterns, especially on the Sphinx and areas of the Giza Plateau, show signs of water wear, a weathering consistent not with the arid desert climate, but with torrential rains of a kind unknown in Egypt for over 10,000 years. This suggests that, at least in parts, the oldest Giza structures could date back far earlier than the official timeline, perhaps as far as 12,000 years ago, into the last ice age. Even more curious are the shell fossils, marine sediments, and stratigraphic clues embedded in the limestone blocks. Some of these fossils date back 10 or 12 millennia, challenging the notion that the stones were quarried and fitted in a mere 2 decades of pharaonic ambition. Are these simply geological remnants from ancient seabeds? Or do they hint at a prehistoric epoch of construction, a time when advanced builders, whoever they were, walked the Nile floodplains? Theories abound, each more audacious than the last, driven both by the persistent mysteries and by the absence of detailed explanations in the archaeological record. Some have suggested that the original builders were a culture entirely separate from historic Egypt, perhaps destroyed by cataclysm, famine, or flood, remembered only in vague legends that echo in myth and oral tradition. The story of Atlantis, told by Plato and echoed in the lore of myriad peoples, conjures the image of a lost civilization of immense scientific and technological prowess, a race who may have mapped the globe and built great stone monuments long before the rise of pharaohs. Did these legendary Atlanteans, or some other forgotten society, possess the knowledge to carve, transport, and fit stones so perfectly that even a razor blade cannot penetrate the joints? Only a few steps further into speculation, and the legends take on gargantuan proportions, literally. Ancient stories from around the world, from the Nephilim of the Hebrew Bible to the Titans of Greek myth, speak of giants who walked the earth, building great works beyond the strength of ordinary mortals. Might the pyramids be remnants of a time when human history was entwined with beings now relegated to the realms of fairy tale and cautionary myth? Proponents of this theory point to the vast size of the blocks and the superhuman labour required, asking if these gigantic constructs were meant to serve as tombs, beacons, or perhaps something greater, a message left by an earlier epoch to the far future, a monument out of time. Mainstream academia, understandably, remains cautious of such radical possibilities. The lack of definitive physical evidence, giant bones, Atlantean artifacts, or unambiguous inscriptions, makes it difficult to adopt these ideas as fact. Yet, it is precisely the absence of answers that sustains the debate. Why, after so many iterations of archaeology, analysis, and laser mapping, do key aspects of the pyramid's origins and construction remain elusive? Whatever the truth may be, The Great Pyramid's presence on the Giza Plateau invites both awe and humility. It is a structure that not only dwarfs its surroundings, but seems to defy the time and context in which it is said to have arisen. Each block, worn yet eternal, stands as testimony to either the astonishing capabilities of ancient man or to a historical amnesia that has yet to be overcome. In the interplay between consensus history and heretical speculation, the Pyramid of Giza remains a paradox, a monument out of time. Perhaps it is the product of the Egyptians' unparalleled organization, their religious fervor, and technological innovation. Or perhaps it is something more, a palimpsest carved by hands we have yet to recognize, their whispers echoing in the Sphinx's battered profile and the shadows of the king's chamber. For now, its true origins abide in mystery, waiting for a new generation of seekers willing to challenge both sand and certainty. Thus, the question remains suspended above the desert. Who truly built the pyramids? Was it the Egyptians alone, harnessing muscle, wood, stone, and cunning beyond our imagination? Or were they the inheritors of a deeper, older wisdom, an architecture not merely impossible by contemporary standards, but by any standards we have yet to comprehend? The debate rages on, spanning disciplines, generations, and imaginations. Yet one fact stands unchallenged amidst conjecture. The Great Pyramid, timeless and immense, will endure, inviting every person who gazes upon it to wonder, to question, to seek a story written in stone and shrouded in time.